Yeah, Cole, we're half an hour into our conversation, and I haven't even gotten to the first question that Serge wrote, or the first topic area.
So
But
much to talk about.
it's been perfect. And so I've written down some tricks here already that you've been talking about. I've got 5 big tricks that our listeners can already take home with them.
Awesome.
So the first one is that having a genuine interest in the topic that you're speaking about is critical to delivering a great presentation.
Yes.
The second one is that you can study your audience's body language and you can adjust accordingly. So you gave some examples of moving around the room, but it also could be things like, I guess if you're giving like a day-long workshop, it could be something like, okay, maybe this is a good spot to take a break.
Yep.
Um, filler sounds. Now, as soon as I give it, we're super self-conscious. 3 is pausing. Mario, don't cut out that pause. Mario's our editor, and sometimes I pause for dramatic effect.
John, I
And
don't know if that
Mario,
was even long enough to be a pause.
that's because I'm so nervous about Mario cutting it out. As soon as there's like white space, he's like, "Oh, well, we'll lop that out," which is great, Mario. You should keep doing that. But every once in a while, I am pausing for dramatic effect.
Nice.
We'll see if that stays in. Hopefully. 4 is rehearsing. That is so smart, and I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad about trying to make sure everything in the slides is absolutely perfect and just like going through the slides. And the last few times that I do that, making sure all the slides are perfect, I should be standing up and talking through the presentation.
Always that time is going to, when you're at that end point, focusing on your delivery is going to serve you much better than more tweaks to the slides, right? The slides are fine. You want to be able to talk through them eloquently and with command so that you can command the attention of your audience.
Yeah, probably few people noticed that I moved that image in the penultimate slide a pixel right.
No, yeah,
But it was
nobody
good that I
did.
spent the last hour going through the slides to find that. Um, and then another one that I really liked, and is also one that I don't take advantage of enough, is memorizing the main points. So not memorizing verbatim the words that you're going to say, but memorizing the main points that you want to get across. Those are
And
great
that's
tips.
something that you can even write down. And oftentimes when you write it down, you don't need the
Mhm.
thing you've written down. It's just knowing it's there makes you a little
Yeah.
more comfortable. Can I add just that's a fantastic summary. Can I add just 2 more thoughts?
Oh, I don't know if they're going to want to have more tips, Cole. I think
No, not more
we're
tips.
out.
These are things that go along with the tips that
No,
you've
and I'm
already.
joking. Of course, we want all the tips. Please bring them. Bring them.
So be authentic.
Mm.
Because what you don't want at the end of this to sound like someone else. That will come off as fake. And one way to understand what that could look like is the next time you are engrossed in a conversation with a friend or a colleague about something that you're passionate about, notice what you do. Notice how you're using your body and your hands and your facial expression and your voice, and figure out how you might roll more of that into how you talk about your work as well. And a lot of that is about finding the interesting piece, because if you are genuinely interested and excited about what it is you want to share, that will come across in a really good way. And then I think something else that goes along with this is, especially for anything that feels uncomfortable, right? So, John, I'll say for you in pausing, try it out in low risk places first. Don't go to the next super critical thing you have and try to do everything differently than you've done before. That's too high stakes for that. You want to test things out both to build your own confidence, but then also to help build the credibility of those around you, so that if you're trying it out, in your weekly team meeting, for example, then somebody can say like, "Ooh, no, that didn't work." When you call out, "I'm going to try something new today," or "Did you notice when I," and you can practice that. And you can practice these things on your own also. So when I'm rehearsing aloud, I'm not rehearsing aloud to anyone. Half the time I'm taking a walk around my neighborhood talking to myself, and I look like a crazy person, but it's super helpful.
Yeah, that's a great tip as well. All right, so speaking of pauses, here's a joke that it's my sister's favorite joke. So a bear walks into a bar, walks up to the bartender and says, "I'll have a rum and Coke." And the bartender says, "Why the long pause?" And the bear lifts up its hands and says, "I don't know. I was born with these." That's a bad
You
pun
still
joke.
could have paused longer, John.
Ah! All right. Well, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to rehearse that joke and the
And
pause.
pausing.
Walking around my neighborhood.